hit the stream button, there's a 10-second delay.
Well,
think
you know,
part
there's
of
always...
it is, you know, when people are on a live stream, they feel a pressure to, for want of a better word, perform.
It's performance anxiety. I think the best way to put it is performance anxiety, Batman. I mean, look at all the topics of conversation we've gone through since the show's over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason I was saying I think people act differently during a live stream than they do after the live stream when the cameras and recording equipment are off is because I've had conversations with people for years. It's like me, I'm gonna say whatever's on my fucking mind. Stream be damned.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say what's on my mind, but I think a lot of people have that problem where it's like you said, Batman. It's sort of a performance anxiety. I guess they just don't want to sound stupid during the show.
I sound stupid on
I
and
don't
off
know.
here.
Miss Steam, we should warn you, we're kind of recording again, so.
Yeah.
Recording? What?
Yeah, we're running it like an after show.
I'm not seeing it on my YouTube feed.
I'm fucking working on it, trying to figure out where the fuck I got it put. I'll pull it up.
Oh, hey, you know.
Suit House released a video about shitty food porn.
We're re-streaming an already spent stream, so... Bleh.
Yeah, quote-unquote already spent. We've been sitting here talking for what? A fucking hour now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we've been sitting here talking for a fucking while, and I've got like almost an hour before I'll be to where I'm picking up my next load, so I can talk, you know, much as I want to till then.
Oh yeah, fuck it, man.
And welcome back, Steamy.
I'll grab that.
It's that people just seem to tend to forget that if they want me in a stream, all they got to do is ask. If I'm not available, then I'm just not available.
Yeah.
You'd be on my show more often if fucking you were in my Discord when I announce it. Like,
I mean, you know, the Discords that are silent most of the time, those are the ones I usually leave.
Oh yeah.
It's nothing against the server. It's nothing against the server. It's just trying to keep up with. I'm still in like 10 of them, I think, and the only reason I'm still in my own fucking Discord is because I've been too lazy to kick everybody out and shut it down.
Jesus. I don't know what it is about Discords. I haven't been in a lot of them as of late, just because it seems to be it's either fighting or, you know, everybody's freaking out about the latest directly related to the Kumite drama. And at some point,
see, I don't watch the Kumite. Maybe it's just a specific type of shit show that I like, but
yeah.
I don't watch the Kumite because internet drama is just not really my thing.
See,
the
only reason I ever used to watch the Kumite was because, like, I don't know if it's like the old wrestler mentality, but I like how Tonka talks when he's calm. Yeah. Tonka is a good dude when he's calm.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when he starts, like, getting pissed off that it's a shouting match, and I'm a pussy. I have sensitive ears.
Well, you are a trash panda, so of course you've got sensitive ears.
Waka waka. But yeah, it's this whole thing, man. Of like there's a point where I get bored, I guess, of doing stuff.
Well, I think well, I was talking about internet drama doesn't really interest me. I guess that's kind of not true, but then again, it does go back to what I said about I think it's a certain type of shit show that I like, because I'll watch the fuck out of Mr. Mediker's videos in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah, it's because of how it's just the format.
Well, he's just presenting something ridiculously retarded, making fun of it, and showing you why it's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's the idea that the actual like fight is not presently taking place, because I think it's the idea of secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah, that's probably
I've got to say this. You know that tweet I said I showed you by William Shatner?
Yeah.
Well, you know I commented on it.
God damn it, Batman.
I asked Mrs. Shatner, "Are you laughing at fools again?" And he's replied,
God damn it.
just
Of
rolling my
course,
eye.
Batman gets Shatner to respond.
Yes.
What did he
look at
say?
this. Just rolling my eyes.
Oh,
God.
Well, but that at this point, William Shatner's already done his 15 minutes or years or thousand years of fame.
Yeah.
So he's earned the right to be a shit poster. There's nobody
He's
to
often
argue with.
claimed that there's not much William Shatner in Captain Kirk, and especially with his internet activities, I've got to disagree with him.
Well, no, it's not. It's not that there's no William Shatner in Captain Kirk. I think it's the fact that at this point there's a lot of Captain Kirk in William Shatner.
Possibly.
yeah.
Because I remember one early interview he had with him about the character. He said that if he actually met Captain Kirk, the character, he thinks that Kirk would be deeply disappointed with him.
That sounds like a personal
No,
problem.
I think that
That sounds like
William
a human
Shatner.
problem,
I think
yeah.
William Shatner has kind of owned that character for so long that some of those personality traits might not have been present when he started that character, but over the years he's gained some of that Kirk swagger.
Very possibly.
There's no way you can act like that for years and years and years in TV shows and movies and fucking just everywhere you go, and then not have some of that rub off on you somewhere.
Act the way you want to be, and soon you'll be the way you act.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Well, yeah,
Tyler
actually,
Durden.
Kitsune makes a good point. No, Kitsune actually makes a good point, because if you think about it, that a lot of the self-confidence people out there that teach people to be confident, they always do that fake it till you make it shit. And like I said, William Shatner's been faking it for years.
It's
yeah,
kind of
he's an
similar to
actor.
that old saying, "He who runs with wolves learns how to howl."
Yeah.
I can howl.
Wait,
but
that's a
a good
saying?
frogs.
Yeah, it's an old one.
I have never heard that one before. That's
Probably
mildly
because it's so
interesting.
old.
Like, I've never heard the phrase "He who runs with wolves learns to howl."
Mm.
I would see those
Wow.
stupid fucking Facebook posts of "If you throw me to the wolves, I'll come
Well,
back leading the pack."
Well, you know what, Ichabod? One of the best sayings ever is, "Don't judge a man until you've walked a mile in his shoes, because by then you're a mile away and you have his shoes."
Let's just hope he doesn't have a horse.
Yeah. Because horses are fast.
Yes, Kit, that is the point. Horses are fast creatures, faster than people. Also, don't
well,
hope he doesn't have a
you guys-
car.
You guys are mentioning horses, and I can't help but think about. Did anybody watch the PKA stream that Mr. Medeker was on, like the whole thing?
No, I don't.
They brought up Mr. Hands, the guy that got fucked to death by a horse.
Oh.
I was like, oh my god, I remember that.
I
That-
don't.
'Cause
but I wish I did.
Oh.
There's video of it on the internet, Kit. Go watch it and be
No,
horrified.
don't make the boy watch a man limp as a horse's dick fucking shotguns
He
into
got-
him.
It's Kitsune. He's imagined worse.
Kid's giggling
exactly.
now, but I get the feeling of actually watching it, he'd be crying slightly.
Well, no, I love the
I
way
don't-
Mr. Medeker put it. He said that guy made a grunt that no human being should ever make. And I saw the video, and that gave me like a moment of PTSD from having seen the video before. And I was like, ugh.
Ah, I haven't seen it, and that hurts my fucking soul.
See it.
Draw a strange kind of glee from this sort of bullshit.
You're a strange sort of person, though, Kitsune.
I know, I'm so fucked up. I love
Yeah,
it.
you
Yes,
might
you
be a
are.
little fucked up, bud.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I've been
Well, but
saying for years
see-
I'm
see
not a good person.
That is my absolute that is my absolute favorite thing about the internet, though, is the shit that happens here on the internet. Is that's the kind of shit show that I love because it's shit that I should never ever see, but I've seen it anyway, and that's the true beauty and horror of the internet rolled into one phrase.
Here's another thing
God.
about the internet for you. People say that when you meet somebody on the internet, they're false. In a way, they're right, but in another way, when you're on the internet and talk to somebody, you reveal more of your real self than you would in normal society because
There's no social pretenses.
Well,
the,
and the
that's
funny thing, the funny thing about that, Batman, though, is if you remember, Red actually said out loud, and this is something I've said for you. I'm exactly the same on the internet as I am in real life, and Red even said that out loud, which surprised me.
Yeah.
Because that is who I try to be. I mean, if you see me in sort of a professional, quote unquote, professional setting where I'm doing my job, I act more professional, but I'm still being me in a lot of ways.
Magnus, I would expect nothing less from you.
Eastern.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing of knowing when to mind your P's and Q's and when you can let your hair down, so to speak.
I mean,
I'm not.
I am almost exactly like I am in real life, the way I present myself online. But a lot of people aren't because, in common society, when you're mixing with people in real life, that's when you put up the masks. Not when you're in a medium where there's no real repercussions to what you do.
The way I see it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The way I see it, if Magnus were ever to swing by for a cup of coffee on his way through, and he didn't proceed to instantly fart the moment he was in my home, I would be offended that he felt that he had to mind himself in my presence.
Now that you've said that, I'll have to remember to pick up a can of beans just so I can have it beforehand.
Yeah. Whereas if you could smell the ocean and like rancid seaweed, you know I'd actually taken the time to walk to your house.
Okay, no. As a legitimate question.
I think. Okay.
As a legitimate question, what the fuck is it with people who buy ocean-scented candles? That fucking thing smells nothing like the ocean.
Well, yeah, that is the biggest problem that I have. It's some flowery scent that smells not because I know the smell of the sea. I practically spent most of my early childhood at the beach.
Yeah, it smells like salt and ass.
Well, yeah, that's why if I come over to your house, I might even eat a fish taco just so I can cock my leg up and say low tide before I let one go.
That's disgusting.
And yet, it's very Magnus.
To Mount Ber-Omises.
What about mounting? I would...
No, Mount Ber-Omises. It's a place. I'm trying to get there. I can't find it.
Okay, Google that shit. That's the only assistance I can offer you, is Google that shit.
Okay, fair enough.
You didn't think to Google it already?
Well, you know what? If you really want to, Kitsune, if you want to find it, just go to PennIsland.com. You'll find it.
Oh,
there's another difference between my generation. There's another difference between my generation and the computer generation. If you ask somebody in my generation a question, we'll do either our best to answer you or say, "I'm sorry, mate, I don't know." Ask somebody of what I call a computer generation, their response is Google it.
Well, yeah, that's because everybody these days has Google for brains.
Well, to be perfectly honest, if Googling is going to help you find the thing you're looking for, I will suggest it, but I'll be like, man, I don't know. You might have to Google it. But then again, I am one of those few people that came in the mid-range generation, apparently, that's, still polite about shit. Hey, dude, if I legitimately don't know the answer to your fucking question, I'm gonna be like, dude, I don't know. You should check Google because it knows fucking everything. Why is it so hard to start that?
Why would it be a problem? You know, like me, I'm one of those weirdos. And I'll say, I don't know. I'll immediately whip out my phone and say, let me Google that.
Yeah, that too.
Because
then, fucking easy
then it cures the fact that I don't know, and it's been Googled already.
Yeah, but
there's no in between.
You find that generally these people who will just say Google it, they'll tell you that even if they know what you're asking.
I know, it's so irritating. Why can't we just talk like normal people? God.
Well,
Those
that's
people.
it's a side effect and a consequence of the modern, information age, if you will.
Yep.
The way I think of it is like those people that tell you to go educate yourself.
Yeah.
And then provide no resources to where to go to educate myself.
Well, you know what, Ichabod, I've got an answer for that too. When they tell you to educate yourself, you look them dead in the face and say, okay, I'll do that. But you're probably not going to like the conclusions I come to, because I'm probably not going to be going to the retardation factories you go to get your information.
Well, my comment to that is usually, they say educate yourself, and well, actually, that's precisely what I'm doing here. You see, I'm doing a study on the different varieties of moron.
I have sat there and had the educate yourself discussion before, but I am too goddamn nice to people. My answer is hey, if you want me to know this from your point of view, then I need you to tell me what you think before I look it up. Because if I'm looking it up from my perspective, I'm going to check a bunch of scientific studies and figure that out. If you want me to go to, like, I don't know, as a suggestion of somebody who gave me a goddamn suggestion on Twitter the other day, I should check BuzzFeed, then maybe you need to tell me I should.
Fucking what?
Somebody tried to cite BuzzFeed to me the other day. I was pissed.
BuzzFeed?
Fucking BuzzFeed. And it was a question about the new game. I was asking when Monster Hunter World was going to come out onto the PC. I didn't know it was already released. So I was like, hey, where is this? They cite me a fucking BuzzFeed article talking about how it was a bad game and it shouldn't be released on fucking PC. And then I find out it already had been!
Hang on, Ichabod, do you not remember what I just said about telling them that you're probably not going to be using as citations the retardation factories that they would send you to?
That's why I brought it up, is somebody tried to cite me fucking BuzzFeed. There's no bigger retardation factory.
It was last year I came across a BuzzFeed video, poking fun at flat earthers, and because it was BuzzFeed, I actually joined in on the flat earthers side.
Oh.
Well, you should, Batman, as well you should.
Here's the real problem with shit like BuzzFeed. When they bring up something, you want to figure out where they fucked up. It's not if they fucked up. We already know they fucked up somewhere. We just gotta know where they fucked up.
I think the problem is this, Ichabod. They've been I guess you could say, the boy that cried wolf so many fucking times that when they do report something in a more truthful and honest fashion, you're just gonna wave them off like, yeah, whatever, just go away.
Yeah, but that's the same.
With BuzzFeed, what you really want to do is go back in time, find the person who poked holes in their father's condoms and shoot him before he does it.
So, like, here's the actual deal of it that throws me off about the concept, and it's something that I said on Sunday Funday. So if you're watching this after Sunday Funday, you need to go back and watch his show. But it's the same thing with the racism allegation shit. If BuzzFeed calls somebody racist, I instantly do not fucking believe them. Yeah. Even if there's a wealth of information that says this person is a terrible, racist, evil person, literally a Klans member, if they fucking did an expose on David Duke, I'd wonder if he wasn't just a nice guy.
Well, and
Yeah.
you said it, but I'm gonna modify it there, Ichabod. They should just go watch Sunday Funday anyway.
Well, yeah, no, it's always better than anything I put out.
Oh, don't beat yourself up.
I'm
You're
not beating
good
myself
stuff.
up. I'm being honest about the quality of my show.
Your stuff is good.
It's boring as shit.
It's not boring.
Ichabod, hold up, Ichabod. Do you think that I would have gone on your first one of your first streams of yours that I went on if I didn't think your content was decent enough?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean,
I thought you were boring.
You're one of I give you a supported you in the early days to start with because your shit's good. It's good. There's just no question about it. I mean, it's good stuff.
You should know I have no truck with boring people, Ichabod.
No, it's the whole fucking situation of it is if you compare the quality of the show, Sunday Funday is better than my show. I'm not saying my show's bad. I'm saying that the quality is not quite up to par, mainly because I have no fucking clue how to run OBS correctly.
What you're arguing for there, Ichabod, is the difference between somebody having a foot fetish and a fucking leg fetish. Yeah, it's two different things. The quality of one is going to differ from the other to the people who are into it, but that doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. Get down, dog, motherfucker! Ah!
What?
Apparently his dog is
Oreo
dancing.
is trying to get into my lap, but she weighs fucking 30 pounds. Get down! Ah!
I don't know how much I weigh.
You treated her like a lap dog when she was a puppy, didn't you?
I didn't do a goddamn thing, but I do need to go find her mother real quick.
I don't know how much I weigh because I don't have a concept of mass, so I can't, like, remember it. Every time I weigh myself, I forget, like, 5 minutes later.
Well, I took the chance and weighed myself this morning. It's kind of odd that I'm still floating around 271 pounds, which is pretty good, but it means I probably need to lay off certain foods and things. Because I dropped quite a bit of weight between when the doctor put me on the "fuck you, you can't eat it" diet and now.
I don't know how much I weigh at all. I might be like 50 kilograms? I have no idea what that means.
Say it English, motherfucker. Do you speak it? Oh, wait,
English.
Yeah, you do.
Do you speak it?
That's the problem. 50 kilograms is like gobbledygook to my ears. That doesn't tell me how much you weigh. It just tells me, okay, you're gay and British.
Magnus, in answer to your question.
Yes, I'm sorry. I do not speak English. Okay. Yes, hot dog. Yes, sir. No, sir. Maybe. Okay.
Yes, I learned these words phonetically. Up, down, go hot dog. I think that's the funnier version. That one was from one of the video games, I think. The one you played was from the show.
See, that's the funny thing, though, Ichabod. You mentioned, you wanted to know when Monster Hunter World was going to be released on the PC.
Yeah.
I can see if I want to know when a video game is going to be out, I go into the process of looking up. I don't care who says it, as long as it's accurate. Yeah. I mean, for fuck's sakes, I think I wound up on IGN just to find out that when Darksiders 3 comes out. For those of you interested, it's November 27th, by the way.
Oh, good. We have a release date. It's only in a couple of months. Oh my god!
I'm still curious as to what your opinion of the Predator versus Cell thing is.
Cell would kick their fucking asses. That's the end of the story.
IGN is the ones who put that out.
That's why I said you can't spell ignorance without IGN.
I don't know what the fuck people were thinking when they made it. Whoever made that image, what the fuck were they thinking?
Well, the people like to do these retarded ass little matchups. Hey, who would win, Superman or the Incredible Hulk? And it's like, well, if you ran the simulation, you'd have an idea that maybe Superman would win 60% of the time, so he would be the most likely to win that confrontation. But even still, the computer simulation can only take so many variables into account.
Well, you know what my
Like
cover
like
usually
the
is?
fact that the Hulk gets stronger the more angry he gets. So there would be a point where Superman's strength would be if either Superman's strength would
Depleted.
be evenly matched from the beginning, and then the Hulk would just get stronger and stronger, or the Hulk would have to get madder to get up to Superman's
It's a
level, and then the match would be decided.
it's a simple one, Magnus. I mean, even when he's not really mad, the Hulk is tremendously strong, right?
Yeah,
He
well, and
gets the more he fights, the more powerful he's going to get.
yeah.
Whereas Superman, the more he fights, the more energy he's expending, and he's going to reach a point because the Hulk will be so mad, he'll be expending more energy than he's absorbing. So
Well, but
if it's a
then
long
you
fight,
have to.
the Hulk will win.
Well,
So
yeah, if it's a
war of
long fight,
attrition.
but then
Can anything even
there's the
kill the
thought.
Hulk?
How that? Well, the Hulk has like superior regeneration skills like Wolverine, so there's a possibility that fight would go the Hulk's way. But take into account, there's a possibility Superman would win because Superman would probably quickly realize that he has to outsmart the Hulk.
Yes, and Superman is more intelligent than even Lex Luthor apparently.
What? No
Eh,
way. I
Yeah.
never got much of an intelligent vibe from him. He always seemed kind of like a cocky doofus.
No,
I've
you
never
don't
seen him as a
say.
doofus. If he's written correctly, that you shouldn't get that from him.
Well,
I
I don't
mean,
have much
well,
experience with the DC whatever, so.
Soups always
well, I mean,
came
for
off like
fuck's
a dick
sakes,
bag to me.
there was a time when Spider-Man knocked Hulk into space. So
Yeah, that was cosmic powered Spider-Man, though.
bingo! I'm glad you got the reference.
Yeah, Captain
When
Universe.
Spider-Man had the power cosmic.
Yeah, Captain Universe Spider-Man.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep, all the Captain Universe powers pick people at random, seemingly at random, but it's always during key points.
Yeah. So he picked fucking
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
got
for
the-
that shit?
Yeah, for a short time, he basically gained the powers of a god.
That seems very inappropriate to
Hulk
give to
in outer
Spider-Man.
space. No, Spider-Man, because it was kind of fun watching Spider-Man trying to figure out just how strong he was and not really knowing how to handle it, what to do with it. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah, the first time he realized that he got these powers is I think it was Dr. Octopus managed to knock him off this building, and he hadn't any web shooters, and he's thinking, "Oh, I'm going to fall to my death," and he stopped falling. And, oh wow, I can fly now.
But that was what made that TV show, The Greatest American Hero, so much fun. Was the fact that he got this suit that gave him superpowers, and then he lost the instruction manual. So he was bumblefucking around trying to figure it out.
Oh, one of the best
lost.
Superman stories I read. It's one of the Elseworld stories, but it's set in the 30s, right? And it's War of the Worlds. But the Superman they're using is the Superman of 1938.
Ah.
So yeah, he's not that powerful, and it's a damn good story.
Well, see, but they've just kept adding and adding and adding
Yep.
to Superman's powers over the years until he's pretty much a fucking god.
Oh yeah.
Is that why people bitch and argue about how powerful he is so much?
Yes.
Isn't he like? I don't know. I feel like he has no. Sometimes I think
lot weaker
sometimes
than
he
he
has
was.
extra dimensions.
He's a lot weaker than he was in the Silver Age, like the 50s and the 60s and even the 70s.
I didn't know there was a
Silver Age
Silver
right in
Age.
the 50s and 60s.
That's the thing. I think back in the original days, the whole reason why they had the whole, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound.
That's all he did.
That last one was because he could jump really high, but he couldn't fly.
3/4 of a mile, I believe.
Yeah, so
somewhere...
that was Superman's power. He couldn't fly, but he could jump really, really high.
Yeah, they made him fly because of the Max Fleischer cartoons, because it was a lot easier for the cartoonists to animate him flying than it was to animate him jumping.
Do you guys
Yeah.
remember when they used to have the old silent Superman cartoons, and it came with like a record that you would put in there, and it would be the show, but on a fucking record.
No,
I still have one of those goddamn records somewhere in the abyss that is my fucking garage. I have an
Cool.
old, like, bright blue fucking record, Superman logo in the middle, fucking old Superman radio show that had a VHS that came with it that you would put in the VCR, and it was completely quiet. You had to play the record.
Oh wow.
That's actually kind of cool, but it sounds like a lot of fucking work at the same time.
Well, yeah.
Somehow it's both cool and lame at the same time.
It is absolutely
that is
cool and lame at the same time. Yeah, man.
That's kind of what made those old cartoons and things so much fun was the fact that they did have stupid shit like that. And hell, I remember. God, do you guys remember when they would put out like little books and tapes that would come with them that for like all the old movies and shit where. Just as an example, the Return of the Jedi, they had like a little small book that told the story, like a summarized version. But then you had like you had a record or a tape or something that you pop it in, and then it would read the book to you while you were reading the book. So it's kind of like a read along thing.
It wasn't. No, I never came across those. But what are you on about the comics? Sorry, the cartoons. It wasn't just that they were well written and well acted, or even well drawn. It was the fact that you could tell the artists, the animators, even the actors were enjoying it. There was pleasure in their work. It showed in the finished product. You don't seem to get that nowadays.
Well, you have to have a certain enjoyment of the storyteller aspect of it before you're going to enjoy telling the story. I mean, that's just the way it really works. Is if you don't enjoy telling a good story, you're not going to be very good at it, because people who are interested in telling a story, they it would sound much cooler, because that's how stories get embellished so much.
Yeah.
Is one storyteller will be like, oh yeah, this is a great story, and then the next one that comes along is like, yeah, I need to spice it up a little. Oh yeah, I'll throw this in. That's almost how scary stories and creepypastas kind of work that we were talking about before.
Yeah.
It'd be much scarier if like you were saying,
Thousand zombies.
We were talking about that story of the girl who was dared to stand on a grave and fucking, to prove she was there, stab a knife into the grave. The version I told was like one of the original versions where she accidentally stabbed the knife through her dress, and that pinned her to the fucking grave. Where you had told the one about the embellishment where she stabbed, but it was one of the guys that dared her to do it was laying on the grave, going to scare the shit out of her.
Yeah.
She stabbed him by accident. That's the kind of embellishments I'm talking about. Yeah, it was scary as fuck that she stabbed it into her dress and died of fright because she thought something got a hold of her. But that embellishment added something to it, where she stabbed one of the guys who had dared her to do the thing in the first place.
And you just reminded me of that Married with Children one where they've gone camping. Yeah, there's a scene where they've always been telling ghost stories, and Al's got the tortured face. He goes, "Yeah," and then she made him promise to marry her, and she didn't. And she actually turned up at the church.
Hey guys, I'm here to fuck up your stream.
Yeah.
Hello, Izzy.
How's everyone doing?
Well,
Doing good.
Until the vagina showed up, huh?
No.
We've had the boobs and bush in the form of Miss Steam, but I just don't know where she disappeared to.
And besides, the vagina's been here since the stream started, haven't you, Kitsune?
that's slightly rude, but okay, sure.
What do you mean slightly?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying she probably had some things to do. Honestly, I can't blame her on that.
Well, I mean, Sunday afternoons, it really depends. Like if I'm parked and relaxing, I want to go watch YouTube videos after the stream. But if I'm, just rolling around doing my thing, I'd rather be in here just shooting the shit because, well, I got
Yeah.
nothing better to do. And it doesn't detract from me driving, so just holding a conversation.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having like a conversation while. Wait, Magnus. Out of curiosity, you're driving right now, right?
Yeah, why?
Okay. Well, I was just curious, more or less. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as long as you're not distracted from your job, I would
No,
see
I'm
nothing wrong
Or
with
the road.
Well, see, there are people who can't hold a conversation and drive at the same time, but I'm not one of those retards. I can actually think and see what I can see as long as I can see the road ahead of me and spot the danger before it happens. I can hold a fucking conversation because I'm constantly thinking while I'm driving anyway. It's just now I'm verbalizing my thoughts.
that. Sounds like an OCD thing. Or not OCD.
Yeah, well, it happens.
ADHD, sorry. ADHD
Hey.
is what.
Minty, do you know anything about Final Fantasy 12? I can't
What
find my way to Mount Bur Omises.
I'm sorry, what?
Mount Bur Omises.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh. Okay, never mind.
So it's kind of difficult to understand.
Yeah, don't you know he's wanting to mount somebody on their ass? That's
No. No.
I thought you wanted to mount them on his wall.
Oh my god.
Okay, say it again. Say it again, less British. Go, Kit.
Okay. In Final Fantasy 12, the next place I need to get to is Mount Bur Ormises, and I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I have no idea where that's at.
Alright.
I've never played Final Fantasy 12. I played the earlier stuff, but I've never played Final Fantasy 12.
Okay.
Well, you know what, Kit? I'm going to help you out by saying something that we were just talking about just a few minutes ago. Google it. If we don't know, and you can't, if we don't know, and you need to know, Google it. Look, because there are people who have made probably dozens of videos about this is how you find Mount Veronicus.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, I do that. That's the first thing I go to. If it's like, oh fuck, how do I, this puzzle's confusing the shit out of me in this video game. What do? Oh, let's go to YouTube and look it up. Hey, there's a video showing exactly how you fucking do it.
Oh, Kitsune. Yeah.
I mean, I've had to do that for like, oh god, was it Castlevania Lords of Shadow with that fucking circular puzzle? I mean, there's a couple of them that I didn't understand, and then I was
that circular puzzle in the early game where you have to save what's her name from being cut in half by it, and you have to do it in so many moves.
Kitsune,
yeah.
After going to Jahara, go northeast and through the jungle. As you go
I can't go through the jungle. There's a bunch of weird glyphs in my way.
Well, you've obviously still got something to do then.
Yeah, usually you have to go to like the opposite end of the map and find the stone that destroys the glyphs that opens up the path. Something stupid like that.
Yeah, what is it?
I thought I might have to go across this river, and that first I'd need to find this one specific cactoid, but I can't find. So at least I know I'm barking up the wrong bloody tree. So thank you. Now I just have to go all the fuck the way back to the fucking whatchamacallit plains. I can't remember the name of.
Well, but now at least you've been pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, and Kitsune, don't forget the pellet with the poisons in the vessel with the pestle. The chalice from the palace has the brew that is true.
What about the flagon with the dragon?
No, forget about the flagon with the dragon. He got the reference.
Speaking of these faggots on the internet doing stupid shit, have you heard about people going on about all the fucking dragons and how to train your dragon being homos?
Oh my god, just kill them with fire.
They want everything to be gay nowadays.
What? How the fuck? It's like, look, they're dragons, not faggots. How the fuck are they supposed to propagate their goddamn species if you turn the dragons into faggots?
Are you
What if
talking
they were
about, like,
all male and there was some kind of...
okay, is it wrong for me to naturally assume that the fucking black dragon, whatever, from Train Your Dragons shit, the one at the beginning,
Mm.
Yeah.
can never remember its name, but
Toothless.
Toothless.
assumed that I thought it was a male instead of a female.
It is male.
Well,
Right.
it is
Actually,
a
I'm
male.
surprised they haven't gone after Eddie Murphy for giving a bad racial profile for of black people with his part in Shrek.
But
It-
is it wrong for me to assume that it was a girl?
But
No,
it
it's
was...
not. Well,
Or
they didn't really
Yeah.
make clear the gender of the dragon really until the second movie. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, Hiccup kept calling him boy and all
Wait.
that, but he had to learn about dragons. For all he knew, Toothless could have been a girl, but then they made it clear that no, Toothless is a boy, and they find a white female Night Fury in the third movie. I still haven't seen
Well,
it.
actually,
Minty,
she's on
Minty.
Light Fury, different subspecies.
Okay, I got you.
Seriously speaking, Minty,
Really quick though, Batman.
unless you have evidence to the contrary, it's perfectly natural for you to assume that any given creature is the same gender as you. It's just a human thing to do.
Oh, that makes sense.
I mean,
The
well,
the faggot with the dragon has a pellet with the poison.
Yes,
What?
the faggot with the
Yes.
dragon has the pellet with the poison.
See, I can't.
The
fucking...
chalice from the palace has the brood that is true. I told you to watch that fucking movie with me, but no!
What
No,
movie
no,
is it? It sounds interesting.
no, you got it wrong. You got it wrong.
That's what I wanted to ask.
It's the Jew. It's a Jew on the loo has the brew that is true.
Waka Waka
Yeah.
demonetized!
you have him in Jewtropolis. Don't forget that part.
Oh, you mean
Fucking-
New York?
Good God, I forgot all about that. For those of you in the
New York,
chat that are
New York.
unaware,
Oh, good.
which
That's
for
the
some
news.
reason there are people in the chat. New York was very briefly renamed Jewtropolis on, what was it, Snapchat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my god.
funny part, all the Jewish people laughed about it. All of the non-Jewish
So-
people freaked their shit out.
All the social justice retards got their yarmulke in a twist over it.
I mean,
I-
God,
I
if
would
you
have thought it
think-
would have been way more funny if it was just Jew York.
hey, if that
Well,
happens,
actually, hang on. Minty, a couple of Jews actually said that.
Yeah, Sarah Silverman of all people said that. We all know she's already a fucking idiot, but hey, at least she fucking had the right optics on this one.
What did she say?
It should have been called Jew York.
Hmm.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
I'm,
we
uh,
lost
if-
Magnus
if you-
and
you
fucking
was-
Minty.
Whoa! If he was still working, I wouldn't be surprised if Mel Brooks came up with something, you know, and that happened there. As in, right, oh, you go get the fuck out of our town.
Okay,
Don't do
why
that,
does it tell
Margaret.
me this call has ended and boot me the hell out? What the fuck?
I have no fucking idea.
I mean, it kicked Minty at the same fucking time. No, I didn't lose signal. It was.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
at
don't
least
know.
it's not being sexist.
Oh my god!
Google's not being sexist. It's being equal opportunity at this point.
So what do you
Yeah,
you guys?
they're being equal opportunity
I have a
facts.
wrench.
Yes, you have a wrench. What do you guys think of Minty's new icon?
I like it.
Well, see,
Kind of
I actually have a picture that I've been meaning to send Minty. Somebody,
God.
somebody looted you, Minty, and I have to send you
No.
that picture.
Are you talking about Max Bear?
No,
Okay, then I have no
It's
idea.
it's a very tastefully. Well, I can't say tasteful, but it's a very professionally done lewd of you.
Oh joy!
Okay, who did it?
I mean, I do
that
like. I do like the boots on your avatar.
I'm not gonna be upset. I'm just legit curious.
Well, when I get the chance to pull out my laptop and find that picture, I'll send it to you because I've been meaning to. It's like somebody looted Minty. I need to send this to her.
I'm surprised somebody did that. When was this then?
This has been about a few months ago that I found it, and then I just forgot to send it.
Do you know who sent it to you or where you got it from?
Oh,
She
I
wants
found
to find it that bad now.
I found it on the Twitter machine, so I don't remember who posted it.
Why didn't they just tag her?
Basically, I wouldn't have even gotten upset. I would have been like, cool, and then just dropped
Well,
it.
because the joke is it wasn't actually somebody looting Minty specifically. It was just a lewd picture of a Minty fox.
I get it. Okay.
I'm actually kind of surprised we have an audience for this shit.
Well, hey, if you build it, they will come.
Apparently.
Hell, if you send it to me, Magnus, I'll look at it, but I'm pretty sure it's not of me, but regardless of anything, I thought it would be interesting. Yeah, I've never seen a fucking mint green fox before, I guess.
Well, it's a fox girl with your mint green hairdo. That's why the first thought in my head was, hey, a loot of minty fox. I need to send that to her.
And I can actually totally put this a place where people might actually complain rather than watch, but meh, fuck it.
But anyway, regardless of it, the Final Fantasy thing treating you, Kit?
It's okay. Long cutscene. I have to listen to you and read
Are you playing a fucking video game?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Dirty
He's been playing
motherfucker.
it ever since Sunday Funday.
Well, see, and the funny thing is, I've been kind of on a gaming drought for the last while. I've bought games but not played any. And the fact that I now know that Darksiders 3 is finally coming out. I started playing Darksiders 2 last night.
Oh.
And it's like it's one of the few games I've been looking forward to. But the problem is this is what sucks about the video game world is when they came out with Darksiders 1, I loved that game. I enjoyed it a lot. Then they came out with Darksiders 2 and it's like, hey, this time instead of War, you're getting to play as Death and he's voiced by Michael Wincott and it's going to be a really good game. You can customize your weapons and blah, fucking blah. And I'm like, that's even better. And then years and years later, now they're finally THQ is putting out. I think THQ Nordic is the ones who bought up the company that put out Darksiders 1 and 2. And now they're finally getting around to Darksiders 3 and hopefully Darksiders 4.
Yeah, Lord knows they gotta hit all 4 fucking bases.
Can I ask? Sorry, go on. You first, Magnus. Sorry.
Well, no, I was gonna say, yeah, I've been wanting to play. I mean, they've got all the. It's not the normal 4 horsemen we're aware of. War and Death, yeah, we all know, but they swapped out Pestilence and Famine with Strife and Fury.
Yeah.
Which Fury is the main protagonist of the next one.
Yeah, it's the chick, right?
She's hot, scantily clad chick with kind of reddish maroonish hair that has a whip sword.
Oh my god, that reminds me.
I've got a boner that's gonna last for weeks over that just because it looks that awesome.
Can I ask anybody here? Like, I know everybody here is basically a gamer, but I figured I'd throw this out there. Is anybody actually gonna go play the fucking new? Oh god, I'm cringing just thinking about it. Is it Battlefield 5 or I believe that's.
Do I look like a frat fag to you?
Yes.
No, I don't really on FPSs.
Magnus, did you ever play this game?
The reason I ask that is because I'm trying to figure out if anybody in our community is basically buying the game, and I'm finding no one.
I don't waste my money on Call of Duty or Battlefield or any of that shit.
I technically did buy Call of Duty, but it was like a reverb, or not reverb, a fucking basically
used.
It was from the.
She bought it used.
Yeah, I bought it.
What game were you talking about there,
Apocalypse. It was a PlayStation 1 game. It had Bruce Willis.
I've never even heard of it.
Neither were.
I haven't either.
I fucking loved that game for so many reasons. I
Well,
can't
you know
play it
what? Now
anymore
that
though.
now that now that
Aw.
you've mentioned it, so DM me on Twitter or something, just the title of the game, so I can look it up. Because I may see if I can find it and play it.
You might be able to find like an old emulator for it. Like I said, it was PS1, but I can't play it anymore because the entire soundtrack is like metal, and I
Uh-huh.
can't listen to metal music anymore because it fucks with my ears.
Oh
Uh,
no.
But
that's the saddest thing I've heard all day.
I mean, I can
Can't
play
you
it
just
on
like turn
mute,
it
but the
down?
game's just not the same on mute.
Well, let me put it this way: there were so many games on the PS1 that I played that when I bring them up to people, they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Two games that stand out in my mind are Evil Zone, which was a fighting
Oh
game,
yeah, no,
kind
I
of in
know
the
Evil
vein
Zone.
of Soul Calibur. Okay, well, what about Elemental Gearbolt?
I don't know Elemental Gearbolt.
That one you actually had to find one of the third party light guns that worked with the PlayStation just to be able to play it because it was a light gun title. If you tried to play it with the controller, you were gonna fuck yourself over royally. I had to buy like the Nikon Cobra light gun for the PlayStation 1
Oh yeah, I
just to
remember
be
that
able to
bitch.
play it, and I beat the game with it. It was a great game. It had a great story. It was one of those Animu games, but still, it
Yeah.
was pretty good.
Well, did you know that the entire thing of my like the I've got raccoon shit to do statement thing? You know that's a Danzivar joke, right?
Oh,
Nope.
what?
Danzivar
Zanzibar.
from
I don't know
Evil
what that is.
Zone. It's a Danzivar joke.
Oh,
I don't know
oh,
what
oh, oh, yeah.
He it no on the last thing when you beat Ihadoka, the last phrase he said is "I've got hero stuff to do," and then it cuts out. My entire
Nice.
end thing is a bad pun.
Can you remember Die Hard 3 on the PlayStation 2?
No, I didn't play any of the Die Hard games.
I'll be
Oh,
back, folks. I gotta go. I
it was
got
a good
Magnus
game.
shit to do.
Very
No,
bad.
the
But
really good one
it
though
was
was
it
the
was mostly car driven, and we used to play it partially because it was a good game, but the way we played it was because his wife was so squeamish, and we used to play the game driving entirely on the pavements.
so you were that asshole.
Yeah, yeah.
But
The windscreen wipers were going 50 to the dozen.
like as far as games that got played that just games that nobody seems to know, does anybody remember Jade Cocoon?
I heard of it.
It was
I've
like,
never heard
well,
of
yeah,
it.
you heard of it because I keep asking you to play it.
Have you ever heard
Um,
of Bushido Blade?
I do remember Bushido Blade and Bushido Blade 2, and that crouching throw sword was bullshit.
But the entire concept of the game, it just showed how wimpy a lot of the young gamers were because they lost in popularity because one sword thrust and your character is dead.
No, the sword
No
thrust
health
isn't
bar.
what pissed me off. It was the dude that threw the sword.
Mm.
The little dagger thing that he would chuck, you'd crouch down and then press the throw button, and they'd throw that little fucking dagger, and it would insta-kill you. And that was the first move anybody tried with that character. The second you picked him, you know, okay, start the match blocked, because he's gonna throw that fucking dagger.
Yep.
Fuck that character.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was a good game once you actually got the hang of it.
Oh yeah, it's just something like that programmed in to be just that instant dick move that everybody who plays that game learns
You want a
almost
dick move?
automatically. Start
I can-
blocked. That dick's
I
gonna
can-
throw the knife.
I can give you a dick move. I used to go over to my cousin's house because her youngest son, who's he's about 38 now, had PlayStation 2, and we both had time splitters. So we set the
Oh yeah.
we'd set the PS2s up so that we're both playing the same game, but we couldn't see each other's screens. And my dick move was I'd stack up on proximity mines and I'd go around and every every fucking pickup drop, like weapons, ammunition, I put proximity mines on them.
You're a dick.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And then I'd find out where the respawn points was and do the same there.
Ah, you are the big dick. You're the one that everybody hated to play with.
Yeah.
Because you were the asshole. It
Yep.
might be smart, but it's still a dick move.
Na asshole.
Yep. I did the same in another game that I had. I forget what it was, but it was a much more realistic looking game. Set in World War One. I kept leaving satchel bombs lying in hidden places while I was hidden in the shadows. See one of them come through, hit the remote, boom, and hear from downstairs, "You bastard!"
There was a lot of really old PlayStation 1 and 2 games that were just so much fucking fun. I think people these days really do miss out on from fucking 64 on era of video games because
Yep.
they just don't know about them, man. There was a
Well, games had to have at least a fun premise or I mean, just even go back to the early '80s when I had fucking, when you had to go to the arcade to play games, they had to lure you into putting your quarter in the fucking slot, or that game wasn't going to be worth a shit.
Yeah. Oh, there was Ghost Recon as well, playing with a friend. Similar setup, but he wanted to use the night maps because he thought the night vision aspect was cool. So yeah, fair enough.
God.
So we respawn, and I get no certain position, and I pick the sniper build, and he's coming on, and every time he respawns, he's getting like 7 or 8 steps, and bang. So he starts respawning and ducking in the cover and looking on. He can't see us anywhere, and he moves and bang, done. You know what I was doing? There's a crashed helicopter on the map, which is on fire. So I was crouching around that helicopter. So he's looking with his night vision. He can't see us because of the helicopter.
Because of the
Well, I'll be
fire
back
and the
again.
light.
I got more Magnus shit to do. I'll be back.
Alright.
Yeah, he's back.
Like, I don't know what it is. I like the old fighting games. Nobody remembers Air Guys either.
Oh, that was a weird one.
That fucking game was awesome. Man, they fucking had Final Fantasy characters as fighting characters. There was even the fucking asshole character for furries.
Do you remember Dead or Alive?
God, I remember Dead or Alive.
Yeah, great game, crap fighting game, but was very enjoyable.
Oh yeah, no. Like, the thing about Dead or Alive is once you learned the combos, it was actually an enjoyable fighting game too. But I'm one of those weird people that played Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball and enjoyed it for the volleyball aspect. I used to love volleyball games. It was a solid game with the mechanics that it was given. The sexy time extras stuff, I was just like, I'm gonna unlock it all, and then once I have 100%, I'm never gonna touch it again because it never came to mind. I had the internet.
Yeah. The best thing about that game was the breast physics.
Somebody in the chat asks, "Is Slanesh gay?"
Slanesh?
I think it's the Warhammer deity.
Oh.
The heretic deity. I don't fucking know. I actually don't know a lot about the 40k universe. Zeo Gold, like, I'm sorry, bud. I just don't. So maybe Slanesh is gay. I don't really know. I'd need more information to determine if Slanesh is gay. But
weird conversations we have.
Well,
yes.
yeah, no, like that's why I wanted to actually do the Sunday Funday after show, as it were, because we get in some of the weirdest fucking conversations after the show
We do.
over, and honestly, I feel bad that people don't ever get to watch it.
It's a shame, and now we're rectifying it.
Like, if I can get people to agree to it, I might just do an after show after Sunday Funday each week.
Oh, that sounds good.
At the very least, I know Batman will be in there.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, of all the people that is actually a delight to have on, Slanesh equals traps. Okay, maybe. Man, I don't really know. That is a personal question that each man must ask himself.
Well, that leaves Kitsune free, then, doesn't it?
Alright.
I'm pretty sure that Kit doesn't care if traps are gay.
Yeah.
Oh no, they well, some of them are bi, but mostly yes.
Okay, so
I mean, if you're cross-dressing to seduce a man, then yeah, that's pretty gay.
well, here's the thing, right? And this is what I've always had a genuine curiosity about. And I'm not gonna delve it into the area where it normally goes because Magnus will have a shit fit if I start talking about pineapple on pizza.
Yeah.
But
Yum.
the whole concept of it is, are traps gay? Does a man have sex with another man? Yes, then it's homosexual. Are they happy about doing it? Then yes, they're gay. Because gay means happy and happy means gay. What now, bitches?
Oh,
Nice one.
clever. Kinda.
What do you mean, kinda?
That's kind of the whole thing. People have been starting to say that trap is a slur. And where
Those
I can
people are
understand
retards.
where they're coming from on it, I don't particularly fucking care. Like I said, I've become so desensitized to things that would be considered sexist, racist, fucking all this shit because it's constantly thrown out.
You could go a whole
I
different
don't-
route with it.
I think the name you're talking about is Slanesh. I think is how it's supposed to be pronounced. Of course, I could have heard it wrong.
I have
Well,
no idea it's a Warhammer thing.
Well,
Yeah,
you then ask Omegon because he would know.
I
it's
mean,
probably his third cousin twice removed.
I
Yeah.
could ask, but that might lead to a very awkward conversation with Omegon about if he likes traps or not.
Well, traps
you
are
could
gay.
go
We
whole-
all
Let me know the
a
answer.
whole different route with this art trapski. I mean, yeah.
I think the
You
better
could consider
question is,
you could consider it animal traps, and yeah.
I mean, to
If
be
it said
fair,
trap actually rapes male animals, then maybe it is gay.
does it matter? Like that's the whole thing about it with me. With our traps gate, does it fucking matter?
Only if
yes,
they're
it
trying to,
does.
only if they're trying to get you into bed and they are gay.
No, this is
Well,
this.
you know-
Okay, I'm gonna bring it up because I know this is. I know it might lead to a problem, but I'm gonna bring it up. Like it's the same thing with me and the pineapple on pizza thing. Why does it fucking matter?
Because it winds up Sky Commander.
It does.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Sky Commander? Why do I
Fly
not know
Commando.
these people?
It's Fly Commando.
Yeah,
Come
Fly
on, Batman.
Commando. Sorry, I forgot.
Regardless, it just comes to that point of I don't really care. Like, am I supposed to care about
I
fucking?
think the part you're supposed to care about is stuff like this is basically designed to be a troll pissing match. It's not designed to be a serious conversation. It's a pissing contest between trolls.
I think the most important question we can ask ourselves in this life is, if you had the chance, would you do Stifler's Mob?
Probably not. She's probably a little too old by now.
Oh,
I don't
No, back
know
in the
that
day.
reference.
American
Oh,
Pie.
no.
You've never watched American Pie, dude? Come on.
Why would I?
Why?
Because everybody else has seen it.
I like the actress. I don't know if I would.
All the other stupid reasons.
I don't know if I would.
Yeah,
do
everybody in
anything.
England is slowly starting to accept Sharia law. Should I do that too?
No.
Just
I'm
because
not.
everybody's doing it doesn't mean it's okay.
Yeah, it's an ad populum fallacy, like democracy.
Kit, fuck off. Seriously, fuck off with that shit.
Take a shit.
You know the people I have to deal with on a daily basis. You really want to fucking throw that little bomb at me?
Of course.
Jeez.
That's what makes it so much fun.
And yes, Zio, it probably would help if I knew what Slanesh looked like.
I think Slanesh is supposed to be a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B, wrapped in the same body.
I'm pretty sure it's a little bit of I don't give a shit.
He's probably the kind of deity that people just constantly look at him and go, "Fag."
Well, like here's the whole thing about a lot of this shit, and it has actually gotten me into trouble, and I don't know what. I don't care about so much shit that it's apparently become problematic that I just don't give a shit.
Well, that is a problem because if you stop and think about it, so many people do give a shit about it, and when they find somebody that doesn't give a shit about it, it hurts their brain in new and exciting ways.
Hey,
And just
Magnus, here's the thing: Slanesh, right, or Slanesh, or whatever you want to call it, is a
I
god,
don't know
right?
shit, but yeah,
Is a
so
god. Yeah, gods generally have their base sex and gender, right? But they can
right.
change at will because they're gods. So
I
the
mean,
Well, it depends
Well,
on
question
the
is,
that they answered that whole question in Ghostbusters. I thought Gozer was a man. It's whatever it wants to
yeah.
be.
So therefore, Slanesh is gay. Slanesh wants to be gay.
Yeah, there you go.
slash it doesn't
That's
fucking matter.
So
that
therefore, is Slanesh gay? Depends on the
maybe
certain.
Slanesh just wants to open the field so he can fuck whoever he wants whenever he wants.
So the answer is Slanesh gay. Depends on the
Yes.
circumstances.
Okay, so
Well, it depends on who he's interested in dicking or not dicking,
or
depending
getting
on
the
what
dick from.
genitalia is required. Exactly.
Okay, so weird question, weird side question that spawns off on this. What the fuck was Zeus's problem?
He was horny. What?
No,
He
no,
was horny. What?
I get that he was horny, but I mean, if the head god pops up to a woman, they might get a little moist about that. You do not have to turn into a fucking swan
or a bull for
Well,
that
or
matter.
a bull.
that,
Bull
de-
and fella.
that
Yeah.
depends. That depends on if you feel that you need a disguise or not.
Yeah,
yeah,
but you
have
can
a-
disguise
yeah.
yourself as anything. Why barnyard animals?
Because
Okay,
Zeus,
well,
like
the
that.
first furry.
Freaks
It was-
with freaks.
It was a swat. Well, yeah, that's why anal's actually originally called Greek style. But keeping in mind that Greeks just they God, Greeks just had the. I mean, you want to corner the market on fucked up mythology? The Greek people had it in fucking spades. There's just no arguing that point.
Yep.
I mean, the Minotaur, the King Minos' wife got freaky with a bull because Cupid shot her in the ass with an arrow while she was looking at it. Come on.
Right, Tiresias. There's this Greek guy who saw two snakes, mating. Was so disgusted, he struck them with a stick, and the gods were so offended by this, it turned him into a woman. Eventually, Tiresias gets used to her new life and is out one night. Yeah, happily married by now, had children. Sees two snakes having sex, is disgusted by it, and then knocks them apart, and the gods are so offended they turn it back into a man.
Well, that just proves traps are gay because they're Greek.
Jesus.
And do you know who the ugliest woman in Greek mythology was?
That would be Medusa, I believe.
No, it was Helen of Troy.
Really?
I mean, she started off beautiful, but I mean, yeah, the ankle burns on the rope burns on her ankles, and all the time her head is smacked off the prow of fucking boats. I mean, that was the face that launched 1,000 ships.
Oh well, yeah, there's that too. I'm pretty sure that face would be dented in by that point.
So the question
Oh,
here
big-
remains: was Zeus the first furry?
Yes.
More than likely.
Something.
Actually, you know what? No, I have to take that back. I can't honestly say yes to that question because he was just the first one that was written about in mythology.
Fair point.
For all we know, the story of Zeus could have been picked up from some other culture. I mean, a lot of cultures exchanged, mythology, and so it wouldn't be hard to.
Zeus
It
was
wouldn't
always
be bats. Let me finish. It wouldn't be hard to figure that at some point somebody heard those stories and went, "That's fucked up." You know what? I think I'll tell my own story about that, but change this guy to this guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's from what I've read, Zeus has pretty much always been a Greek god, but when it was the Mycenaean Greeks, Zeus wasn't king of the gods. He was an agriculture god.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know,
Well, yeah, actually, Bats, you bring up a good point. You said at one point he was an agricultural god.
Yep.
Maybe that's why he's got a fetish for becoming farm animals.
Possibly.
Ah.
And originally, Apollo wasn't god of the sun; he was just god of the light of the sun, because there was already a sun god called Hyperion.
Yeah, but there's that too.
Helios. Hyperion was, I think, father of Helios and
Yep.
Selene or whoever. And he was like god of the dawn or something.
He was Hyperion was god of the originally god of the sun. He was another Mycenaean Greek holdover. But
I would
one
say
thing
that's where all these.
one thing I've got to ask is people who like having sex with satyrs, as Americans call them, would you call them pansexuals?
But I'm.
Yes. Well, but see that's kind of the that's kind of the problem. People like satyrs so much they were fawning all over them.
God damn it! These puns are bad even for me.
Exactly. That's the whole point behind these puns. They're supposed to be bad.
You're really getting my goat, Magnus.
Exactly.
God damn it! I'm part of it. I'm part of it like everyone else.
Hooray!
Yeah, Ichabod, you're really milking it, aren't you?
Oh God.
Oh,
Oh.
don't go scapegoating Ichabod.
Oh.
Mind with these puns, you've got to admit, at least Katsune's not the butt of the joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Zio Gold says, is anyone here mad about Movie Bob blaming a shooting on football games and masculinity?
What?
Movie Bob would blame his own obesity on those things. It doesn't surprise me, and I don't give a shit.
Well, hold on, I want to know. By football, does he mean like
American
English
football? It was a Madden game.
Oh, so hand egg.
Whatever you
Yeah,
want to call it,
pretty
you
much.
dirty Englishman.
Sissy
Well,
rugby.
but that's the thing. I thought those games were stupid to start with, and now somebody's killing people over it, and it's like, why am I not surprised?
Sports games have always been like, no matter who is playing a sports game, be it a man, a woman, a small child, or anybody in between on whatever progressive stack you want to throw up there. It doesn't matter who the fuck you are. If you lose at a sports game, you're gonna be pissed off. Everybody gets pissed off when they lose sports games. I don't get pissed off when I lose a fucking fighting game or a fucking platformer or any of that shit. I'll get a little frustrated, but I won't get murderously angry. Sports games, I'm like, I don't even play this shit in real life. Why the fuck am I playing it on a goddamn gaming system?
Ichabod, talking about team sports like in the real world, like say soccer, for instance, as you might call it. I have a great way to improve it. First of all, you get rid of the foul rule. First of all, you get rid of the foul rule, right? Then you allow the use of melee weapons.
Basically, give everybody a break.
I got a better way to improve these fucking. I've got a better way to improve these fucking games. Ban them.
No, that's not improving. That's just getting rid of them. That's different.
I know a way to improve it. Judo football.
Here's the thing. What Batman has suggested has been suggested before, and it's the how would you improve this game? Give everybody a brick. What you do with it is on you.
Oh, I've got another way. Any sport playing on a field, what you do is you don't tell the teams beforehand, but you've had the field mined.
I have one better. What you do is, in the goal line, you put a hungry lion on a chain.
Oh, why put it on a chain?
So he can't leave the goal area.
Well, see that's the classic Roman way to do it. They used to have the Christians play that game.
I thought they just had the Christians play Catch the Lion.
Apparently, that's pretty much of a myth.
I don't. It's a joke. It's a joke, Batman. Jesus Christ.
I know.
Nobody
This
actually
Sunday
is
in the
proposing.
Roman Colosseum, two teams will clash: the Lions versus the Christians.
It's like that old story, you know the one about the guy fleeing the Romans there with his wife because he's being converted to Christianity. And they go through the forest and hear this moaning, and they come across this lion limping around. It's got a thorn in its paw. So the man, being a good and virtuous man, takes manages to get the lion calm and takes the thorn out of his paw. Well, years later, this lion's caught by the Romans. Yeah, and it's put in the arena, and it's set loose on these people, Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And as it's run towards them, it remembers the man who took the thorn out of his paw, and it stops and it thinks. And you know what it does? It kills the guy in front of it, just the same as it did the idiot who pulled the thorn out of his paw.
There you go.
Because it's a fucking lion.
On to the concept of am I mad about movie blaming a shooting on football games and masculinity? Much in line with what Magnus would say, no. They'll blame anything on anything if they can. They can somehow rework their brain to justify something fucking stupid. They will say something fucking stupid. I don't care that the man has more subscribers than me, nor has more viewers than I. He's a dumb fuck.
These are the type of people who, let's face it, there's got to be people out there in the States who are blaming the Hawaii eruptions on Donald Trump. There has to be.
Of course there are, dude. Come on. We all know. These assholes would blame a meteor on Donald Trump if it struck, like, New York City.
Yep.
They're just looking
to blame anything they can on anybody other than themselves. Or
I'm actually surprised they haven't tried to blame slavery on Donald Trump.
Okay, look,
asteroid hits planet, women most affected.
To be most fucking blunt about this concept, the people who are in the hashtag Never Trump camp would blame Trump for getting shot in the face by an Antifa guy who says fuck Trump. It would somehow be Trump's fault, and they would work to try to get that boy acquitted.
You know when Hillary Clinton said that women are the major casualties of war? She's kind of right, because let's face it, the majority of men got killed off in war, and that means women have to actually go out and do the work for a change.
Yeah, that's true. That's how women are most affected. They have to get off their lazy fucking ass and fend for themselves.
I had an argument with somebody recently, pointing out that back what feminism is like is back in the Middle East before Islam started up, a common man would be beheaded for daring to put his gaze upon a princess, and that's how feminists want to be treated by men. And there's feminists, oh well, that's just because a princess was considered property by her father. No,
so
they weren't. They were part of the nobility. Yes, their word was less than a prince's, but their word still carried an incredible weight of power. They were considered greater than the common man.
Here, let me get into the hashtag Never Trump mindset for a moment. This means that it's all Disney's fault.
Yes, it is.
Of course it's Disney's fault. Who else does retardation like Disney? I mean, come on.
Yeah, they did kind of ruin all of Grimm's fairy tales.
Oh, that's it, young Skywalker. Feel your hate coming through you. Oh.
Fuck you, goddamn Mickey Mouse motherfuckers. I goddamn fucking.
It's not true. Yes, it is.
It's impossible.
Take my hand, Luke. Join with me. Together we can rule the galaxy together. Oh.
Well, that's why you don't let these Mickey Mouse motherfuckers do Star Wars, because even Mark Hamill's still going on about the fuck did they do to Luke Skywalker?
They killed him off.
Not only that, I'm talking about the fact that they fucked that character up hardcore, and then had him play it. It's like, this ain't the character I played back in 1975.
I am convinced Mickey Mouse wears a J.J. Abrams watch.
Who's more punchable?
hang on. Now I'm waiting for somebody to give me that shit about the movie came out in 1977. Yeah, well, think about it. It takes time to make a movie. He was probably playing that character in 1975 before it ever came out.
Fair.
Yeah.
So we have a question from the chat, and that's who's more punchable,
Okay.
Cenk Uygur, Movie Bob, or Riley Dennis?
Well,
Why do I have to make a choice?
Considering that Movie Boob is probably the least punchable, not because he's not an asshole, but because if you punched him, it would be like punching the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Your arm would just sink in up to the elbow,
I
or
thought
as
a man
far
like
as you
that
could
once.
get it.
It was
And then
disturbing.
wait, and then it would be like Luffy from fucking One Piece when he does that whole balloon thing that he does, and you would just be flung like miles away by the rebound.
Jesus.
So movie Bob looks punchable, but he is not.
And if you punch Riley Dennis, just one hit, and you wouldn't even have to hit him.
Riley Dennis would fucking
hold on, let
disintegrate.
me finish. The weight, the string from your fist passing his face would snap him.
No, that's what I said. He would fucking disintegrate. That's what I was trying to add to your thing. If you punched Riley Dennis, he would disintegrate.
Yeah, that's why I said it. You just have to, throw your punch past him.
I'm going to go the weird route, and I'm going to take this from a practical standpoint. Due to legal ramifications, I would punch Movie Bob, because the other two are a hate crime.
No. I would have myself cosmetically altered to look Palestinian.
Batman's going trans.
You would.
Let me finish. I would wheel on Senk's ass whilst in the background I'd be able to hear Anna Kasparian screaming how she's better than me.
Well, you know what? No, I don't think either you fuckers would punch Cenk Uygur, because then you would have you'd have PETA all up your ass for beating up a buffalo.
I live in Kansas, Magnus. We used to beat on the buffalo every day of the fucking week.
Yeah, well, just remember, these assholes took out the Barnum and Bailey circus. You're next if you're punching the buffalo.
As a weird side note, did anybody see fucking, what was it, Jack's Crab something? It was a seafood company. Just go hardcore on fucking PETA.
Jack's Crab? Joe's Crab Shack, you mean?
It wasn't Joe's Crab Shack. I kept trying to fucking process it into that in my mind too, but no, it's just this little fucking seafood place, so like somewhere in middle of bumfucked Egypt, man. But
I think it was Jack's something, but I can't remember right off the top of my head.
Yeah,
God, can you imagine the funny if you could get a remote-controlled animatronic cat with its guts hanging around out to walk up and down outside of the PETA head offices.
Like this is the main thing about it, though. The thing that really threw me off about this. I have slowly begun to realize that the Wendy's Twitter account has become more culturally significant than any large news outlet, because this fucking little fucking seafood chain starts posting articles about how PETA slaughters baby kittens. Just right at him, tagging him the whole time.
Hey, they deserve every inch of that beating too.
Yeah, I know, but god damn, like in fucking again, I'm gonna bring up the time period I always do. 10 years ago, would a company have gotten away with doing that shit?
That depends on the company.
Okay, a tiny seafood company with like 5 locations.
Maybe not. Well, you gotta keep in mind. You keep bringing up the whole 10 years ago thing. Back then, they probably wouldn't even have thought about it, because it's only because these culture war retards have gone into they've gone straight to plaid. Okay, therein is their problem, because they've gone fucking ludicrous speed with this shit. So that's why in the modern climate, people like us are so fucking sick of the shit that when we see a small company, that's like one of the greatest fucking PR moves they could make, because the number of people they're going to piss off pales in comparison to the amount of money they're going to make from the people who are sick of the shit.
I don't know, man.
Did I just blow everybody's minds or
No,
what?
it's just like the whole thing is the way I actually look at this kind of shit. It's just we have fucking abandoned common fucking decency.
Well, duh.
I don't know, man. I come from a time where common decency may have been hanging on by a thread, but it was still kinda there.
Well, and I come from a land down under where the women roar and the men plunder.
But I mean,
can you hear the
y'all
thunder?
are both older than me. You know,
shit. That don't mean shit. It's the modern climate is what counts. Like, look, there's probably plenty of instances in the time period where somebody just made the right bad joke at the right time with the cultural climate they were in. I mean, it's got to be littered throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also plenty of examples where people have fucked it up, like when I think it was Napoleon when he was trying to take back over France and become the emperor again after his exile. He came in trying to make a big show out of it, and it didn't work because of the cultural climate at that time. He was thinking it would work because it would have worked before, but the cultural climate shifted, and that was the wrong thing to do. People were sick of that shit. That's what these culture warrior retards don't seem to comprehend. Like I said, I'd been in an argument with one of these retards who apparently got their panties in a bunch over Comicsgate. I haven't bought a comic book since 1998 because, well, comic books just don't do it for me anymore. But this asshole, because, like I watch videos from like Mem Headroom.
Yeah.
And, Ethan Van Sciver. I watch the videos. I don't give a fuck about the comics. But I'm with them because I watched all this shit happen with Gamergate. So I understand. They tried to do it with heavy metal too and failed spectacularly. But that doesn't mean that
they're not still trying.
That I won't support. Yeah, they're still trying. It's like they're going through one medium at a time. Or maybe they're all at the same time and it's just doesn't become visible in each one until it hits a certain point, which, fine. I get that.
It's like a low-grade contagion is really what it is. Until you start exhibiting real symptoms, it's not gonna be easily visible.
I think it's like rabies. Yeah.
God help them.
You can be cured until you start showing symptoms.
I'm gonna be that guy, and I'm gonna say, God fucking help them when they get to real anime.
Well, they're already working on anime. Just look at what's going on with Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll is an anime. Crunchyroll is American bullshit, and we all know it.
That's because anime is based in Japan. They can't stretch their fingers all the way over there, but they can meddle with the shit that happens over here.
Have you noticed though, when it comes to
therein lies the problem. They don't seem to comprehend that, them trying to fuck with anime on the American side of things is going to get them a savage dicking from the Orient.
Well, yeah.
Have you noticed though, when it comes to SJWs, when they finally kicked out of their little safe spaces in universities and whatnot, and have to live in the real world, most of them quickly stop being SJWs.
I don't. Man, I don't doubt it. Like, the whole thing that really gets to me about this kind of shit is I cannot, I honest to God, cannot fucking wait for them to get down into the really, really hardcore parts of certain fandoms. Because they will just turn away in revulsion. And that's not
Well,
a bad thing.
Have you
Well,
ever
see,
seen? There's this
I'm
guy.
not-
Something to follow up. Japanese guy, and one of his videos, he was going around asking people what in Japan what they thought about political correctness in the West and feminism in the West. And most Japanese people who he was talking to, young people as well, thought it was stupid.
well, yeah. Well, I mean, what in China, they've got a derisive term about white Western liberals, and it's mainly because of these assholes, sticking their nose into the Star Wars franchise and trying to fuck that up for everybody, not realizing that at some point, they're gonna hit an audience like China, one that they depend on for the bulk of the of the monetary gain for a fucking movie, and those people are gonna look at it and go, "What the fuck is this shit? We're not paying money for this."
Like, the way I see it, and I honestly wish I could see it in a different way, but the main way I see how this is gonna go is they're gonna go into. I'll give you a perfect example of the concept. Do you remember the game Five Nights at Freddy's?
How could I forget? It was a movie that sucked dick through a sour punch straw, and people loved it like it was the cure for ball cancer.
Well,
And
this
I
is the
still
thing.
can't figure that out.
This is the thing. The game itself had a specific base of a storyline. From start to finish, he had planned out 5 games.
Right.
But because of how much the fandom interacted with it and how hard they went towards it, he changed that story. And unfortunately, the major
Didn't work very well.
the thing of it is like the entire story got so jumbled and fucked that poor Matt Pat from Game Theory just could not make heads or tails of it, and it's because of that fandom that made it such a big deal. Had all these fucking theories, and basically what Scott Cawthorn ended up saying was, the reason that I changed the story, the reason you will never figure out what's in the box, the major reason is because I didn't think anybody would be satisfied with that ending. Take that for a minute and contemplate it. Nobody would be satisfied with that ending. The most vocal of a fandom is the one that gets noticed the fastest. The
Yep.
ones that appreciate the story leave good reviews, buy more games, and then leave. The
Which is
ones that
why,
are constantly bitching are the social justice fuckers.
Yeah,
The
and
ones
this is
that
also
have
why. This is also why most franchises end up pandering to the fanboys. I hate fanboys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fanboys are
'cause
fucking
it's-
pointless.
It's
And
both
hello,
the
Bridge.
fanboys and the social justice people who kind of yell out, to be fair. You know.
Yep.
And like the thing of it
And the worst thing is that a lot of fanboys are social justice warriors.
yeah, that's the major problem. The fact when your fandom gets
It can be both.
infected like that,
Yep.
they're going
It
to
really
always have a complaint. Pander
But-
to the people who buy your shit and
I
fucking
mean-
keep towards your vision for that shit.
You know which fanboy?
Okay, I'm having a severe failure with my navigation here. I'll be right back.
Take that.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know
I mean,
what's-
to be
you know what-
fair, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, to be fair, you can have it also be one of those things where it's like somebody just puts something out there and then everybody immediately assumes it's a social justice thing. And, you know, you get a lot of people getting mad. It's like, oh, they had the social justice this up or something. And it's like, no, maybe they just wanted to do a different story.
Well, consider it like this, Bridge. Chica was never supposed to be a girl.
Okay, I didn't necessarily mean for that specific fandom. I meant
No,
that
like
bunch.
that's kind of my point. Like the animatronic chicken was never supposed to be female until the second or third game. Was not supposed to be a female character. It was just railed that there was no female characters at all in the game. Keep in mind, this is a stationary jump scare game about robot animatronics. So, in response, Scott Cawthorne redid all the animatronics into the toy animatronics and slapped some fucking hot pants on Chica. That was the only change. But that made
Okay,
Chica
that's
female.
That
fair.
means Chica could conceivably be a trap.
This is true. Of
You
course,
know
it's a
what's-
robot.
You know, which
I mean, that's
bunch
kind of like
fanboys-
throwing in Smurfette, and they still throw that hate because
Yeah.
oh, there's all the Smurfs, and then there's Smurfette. There's only the one.
You know, Smurfette was literally supposed to be a trap, wasn't she? Because she was created by Gargamel to basically kill the Smurfs.
Really?
Yeah, she was
God
made
damn.
as like a kind of snake in the garden, if you will.
Yeah.
Huh.
But then
That's...
she grew a heart or some shit.
What the fuck?
No, her vagina activated.
That's kind of dark.
The activation of vagina.
I think
Jeez.
what really happened was she got a good stiff Rodring from Papa Smurf.
Oh, Big Daddy
yeah.
Smurf.
All right. Do we really have to go there? Oh, geez.
Yes, we do.
Trust me, this is a group that don't give a fuck.
No, you're acting like I haven't been here before.
True.
You know, fanboys I hate the most? The Batman fanboys.
Oh, God.
These are the ones, oh, given enough time, Batman could defeat God. No. Batman is basically the pinnacle of what a normal human being who has worked hard to get where he is can be. Yeah, which means, in a protracted fight, Captain America could beat him.
I mean,
Because mentally they're on the same level.
where... I don't know if I could say that Batman worked for everything he has. But the martial skill, I will agree to.
No, the martial skill, the honing of his intellect, the detective skills.
Yeah. The gadgets, not so much.
His only, what you could call his only superpower, really, is Batman never gives up.
To be fair, I think
I would argue that having
a shit ton of money might also be a
inherited money
superpower.
when you were orphaned by your parents. You know.
I mean, having money is not a superpower, really, because that can be taken away.
Depends on how much you have.
And how wise you are with it.
There's been plenty of Batman stories where he's been put in situations where he has no access to his gadgets or his money.
Yeah, no, I understand. And I will give him the martial skill, the intellect, the detective skills, all of that. The deductive reasoning, all that. But being that unimaginably rich does qualify as a superpower. Because once you hit $1 billion, you could basically do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And
Although
with the
nobody say that
consequences.
too loud because you'll just encourage Elon Musk.
No, let me put it this way. If Bill Gates... No, hear me out on this. If Bill Gates took a bucket of puppies, a literal bucket of puppies, ate half of them alive, live on television, and then gave $500 million to a cancer charity, nobody would remember the puppies.
You brought Bill Gates into a Batman conversation. Now I've just got this image of Bill Gates in a badly fitting Batman costume leaping down at Sally to fight these muggers.
I have the image of him in a badly fitting Batman costume.
I am the knight.
Did you just try to imitate Peter Griffin?
No, I was just plugging my nose to make the nerd voice.
You imagine it. You imagine it.
Okay.
Where to me?
That laugh did not
Where
sound
are
like
the
Bill
other
Gates. That
drugs
laugh was
going?
pure Family Guy.
I don't know why. I know he probably doesn't, but I've always imagined Bill Gates to just be a nasally Skeletor.
Yeah, Nathan White voice.
afraid of me. I
Have you
am
never heard
billionaire
of
Bill Gates.
Wait, have
I'm
you
gonna
never
get
heard
back
of
at
that
all
long
those guys who
conversations?
gave me wedgies in high school.
Yeah.
Because when you say Bill Gates, when you hear about him, you just get the impression that even the kids who were badly picked on used to beat the shit out of him.
No, that would be me. I was the one even kids who were badly picked on beat up. That
Oh.
was me.
To be fair, okay, Bill Gates is the dude that, like, he found his bullies' names, addresses, and families and destroyed them. Bought the company they worked for to fire them specifically.
Oh my
And
gosh, you're
not just that, but
kidding.
found out where all their savings and credit associations were and blackballed them.
But fucking bought the bank and then foreclosed on their owners.
Yeah.
He seems that petty to me. I'm sorry.
Wow, I didn't realize he was that big a dick.
No, like that's
No,
what I would imagine of Bill Gates. Like that he is so
Oh.
fucking petty.
Oh,
He-
I thought you were saying he actually had done that.
I haven't looked into it. He might have.
No, it's not just that he hasn't looked into it. He don't dare look into it in case Bill Gates does that to him.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Oh God, Doc Griffin says I'd eat a basket of puppies for $50 million.
Jeez.
God.
I like puppies, but I'm not going to eat them. That would be awful.
$1 million, but you have to eat a basket of puppies.
No, I don't
But
want.
it's a billion instead of a million, so there is that.
It
Oh,
would be
no,
like,
no,
I would have nightmares for the rest of my life.
Hold on.
I feel like, okay, would they have to be live like Bill Gates would, though?
Hold on, these puppies,
Could you maybe cook
how
them
are they
into
getting
hot
cooked?
dogs? Just for
Fucking hot dogs.
I mean,
Very literal
are they
hot dogs.
coming in the Colonel's special seasoning?
Or burgers, you know, either way.
The Colonel's special secrets in the sauce, boys.
Yeah, maybe it's with a side of buttered mushrooms.
Does anybody remember that movie besides me?
What movie?
Wait, what movie?
Fucking fried green tomatoes.
Oh
Never
my
saw it.
gosh, I did see that, but I was 15, but I vaguely remember it. Yes.
That is it's a good fucking movie. I'm not gonna lie.
I actually have
like...
a copy of
Tell
it
you
if you want to
I watched the movie a while
if you want to
back.
rabbit that sometime. I do have a copy.
Fair enough.
I watched the movie a while back because I was bored and I was surprised how good it was. And you've probably read the book, being American.
Rabbit only works with your web browser. You wouldn't be able to like play a DVD
Kid?
on it.
Kid.
I'll be right back. I gotta pee.
The Indian in the
Sorry.
I never watched that one. I know that one exists.
It's quite a good movie. And it's basically the basic premise is this little kid discovers that if he puts toys in his cupboard, they come alive.
I feel like I might have seen it, or at the very least, I remember all of the previews for it. But you know,
There's one part where he's put all of these toys in the cupboard and he opens it up. And you got this T-Rex, tiny T-Rex fighting an even smaller Darth Vader and all this shit. But it is quite a good film. And yeah.
That reminds me of
Sounds
a
pretty good.
fairy tale about this magical glass cupboard, and anything you put into it, 2 of it would come back out. And then it was stolen, and they made so much gold they couldn't spend it, lost their minds and broke it, and then all the gold disappeared.
Oh, have you ever heard the one about the...
Now I'm back.
Welcome back. Oh, have you ever heard the one about the bloke who finds a genie in a lamp?
which one?
I'll give you 3 wishes.
Mm-hmm.
Someone goes, that's brilliant. He goes, mind, your ex-wife gets twice what you get.
Oh, I know this joke.
Right, fair enough. I'll have a Ferrari. He goes, yep. Your wife gets 2. Oh, I'll have £1 billion. Your wife has got £2 billion. And you've got 1 wish left. So the guy sits there and he goes, I wish I was beaten half to death.
Yeah, I was about to say, well, fuck, if my wife's getting twice what I get, then fuck it. You might as well take a stick and beat me half to death.
Ouch.
I think the funniest one I've heard.
And now he has 3 Ferraris and 3 billion whatever.
No, it's his ex-wife.
You know what makes it even funnier, though, is if you go with that old 3 women are walking along the beach. And they stumble across the genie's lamp. They rub it, genie pops out, and Okay, since there's three of you, I'll give you one wish each. They're like, all right, fair enough. First woman goes, I'd like to be twice as smart as I am. So, poof, now she's smarter. Second woman's a little bit greedier, and she hears what the first woman wishes for. She goes, well, fuck it, then I want to be 5 times smarter than I am. So, poof, now she's 5 times smarter. Third woman, she's like, well, I'm going to outdo both of them. What do you wish for? I want to be 10 times smarter than I am. So, poof, he turned her into a man.
Have you heard the one about the? There's this American. There's an American, a Frenchman, an Englishman.
I have an IQ of 140. I wouldn't
they're
trade
on
with
this island
pretty much any
resort,
of them.
right? And they come across this bottle on the beach, and they open it up, and Genie appears. Yeah. Now, he does the usual spiel. Yeah, you've released me from the bottle. I now free, and in gratitude, I'll give each of you a wish. It goes to the American first. Goes, you sir, you get the first wish. And the American thinks, he goes, well, I come from a farming community. I love farming. I think farming is a great life, and I also love my country, but much of it is unusable. I wish everywhere in the United States was beautiful farming land. The Genie, it is done. He goes to the Frenchman, and you, master, what is your wish? And the Frenchman goes, well, I'm French, and I love France, and I hate that foreigners coming into France and spoiling it. So I wish there was a giant invisible wall around France, impenetrable. Genie, it is done. And the Englishman's chuckling to himself. And the Genie comes to him and Genie goes, you, master, for the final wish, what is yours? And the Englishman goes, you know this wall around France? Is it, how big is it? He goes, it reaches to the edge of the atmosphere. And nothing can get in, no, master. And nothing can get out, no, master. He goes, well, I wish you'd fill it with water.
God.
I knew that was fucking coming, but I didn't know exactly what.
It's worth the wait they wanted.
Yes, it was.
Okay, like, there's so many ways to variant that joke.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
It's like the one about the aircraft. It's traveling over the desert, and Captain goes, we're starting to have engine difficulty. We need to lighten the load. So they start throwing everything out. There's this Englishman there, Frenchman, American, and the Mexican. And they pull up all the seats and that, throw out all the luggage, and the pilot goes, we're still losing altitude. We still need to lose the weight. So the Englishman opens the cabin door. For God, the Queen, and St. George, and he leaps out to his death. Brave sacrifice. So pilot goes, we're still losing altitude. We still need to lose some weight. So the Frenchman goes to the cabin door. Vive la France. Brave sacrifice to his death. But they're still losing altitude. They still need to lose some weight. So the American goes to the cabin door, opens it, shouts, remember the Alamo, and throws the Mexican out.
I knew that was coming.
All right, okay. All right.
Vicious.
But why is the French flag so plain without any designs on it? Does anyone know?
Well,
Too much wine, not enough free time.
They took their normal white flag and added some colors to it, so it wasn't that obvious.
I was actually gonna say, well, because that way you can rip away the two sides and have the white flag in the middle when you need it.
Yep.
Exactly.
So when did we start shitting on the French?
We've been doing it because we've been doing it for a long time, since we've got 2 Brits in the chat, and they do that all the time.
Okay, come on. Americans don't tend not to not like the French as well.
That's because the French are fucking obnoxious, man. That's the problem.
And a semi-attractive man smoking a cigarette in black and white is not a movie.
What?
Yes, it is. I will damn anyone who says otherwise.
Go watch porn!
It's probably because the French started the whole idea of postmodernism, and it's been a pain in our ass ever since.
Oh gosh.
Oh, the kind of films I hate are these art house films like A Passage to India, The Piano, A Room with a View.
Well, but
Boring shit that nobody ever wants to
that's
watch.
that's because these fucking assholes think it's artsy, and it's like, okay, when we go to the movies, we go to escape the boredom of reality. We don't want to watch a fucking movie that shows just how fucking boring reality can possibly be.
And in fact, goes to great pains to make reality even more boring than it actually is.
So
Exactly.
weird side note. I don't understand exactly how to phrase this, but what is it with postmodern movies being like titled after things that you just look at and like, I'd like to have that, like The Piano or The Room with a View. I would like to have a room with a view or a piano. It would
Clickbait.
be nice.
Hold up, let's make it even worse. What about the movie My Morning Jacket?
It's
I would
clickbait.
like to have a morning jacket.
Ichabod, it's clickbait. It's
You know,
not just
I
that.
actually know somebody who does that sort of stuff. I should talk to that person
yes,
about
Yes, you should.
It's not just naming them after stuff you like. You get these postmodern films, and
if anybody actually really wants to know,
the title half the time has absolutely fuck all to do with the movie.
Well, and I mean, come on. What about the?
Like,
the movies we used to watch back in the day. I mean, our movie critics used to shit all over them, and then everybody else loved them. That's why I learned early on that if Siskel and Ebert fucking hate it, I'm gonna goddamn love it.
Well, in the UK, that was Barry Norman hated it. Sorry for talking over you there, Bridge.
No, I did just the same. It's fine. Whatever. All I was going to say is some of the people I know who've done directing of art house type films also direct music videos and things, though. So it's sometimes a matter of context.
I mean,
that thing types of imagery for some people.
That thing what was saying about some of these films have absolutely fuck all to do with the title. There was once I was looking through the paper to see what was on TV. Now the TV guide, which it doesn't give you an indication of what's on, and it had this film, The Living Dead. So, that sounds interesting. I'll watch that. It was about some miserable bint whose fucking relationship with a boyfriend had failed, so she was moping about all the time.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Exactly. That's what I said.
What is the unholy name of fuck, man?
I think I even said that.
What retard thought that was a good idea?
I think it was a French film.
Probably.
God damn it! How did I know probably was coming?
Jesus, Jiminy fucking Christmas! What is wrong with these people?
Man, have you seen the kind of shit we've been dicking around with lately? You know what kind of people they are.
I mean, this isn't an art house film, but it's a misleading title. The Passions of Christ. I mean, wouldn't you think that's a Jesus porno movie?
Oh,
do you mean the Passion of the Christ?
Yeah. Wouldn't you think that's a Christian porn movie?
I mean, it could be.
To some extent, all I'm going to say is apparently in the city of San Diego, outside of a goth club, there is a Catholic church. And the specific statue outside of that Catholic church has been named by the locals who go to that goth club as, quote, Jesus and his leather daddy, because it's of the scourging.
I mean, if we wanted to make the Passions of Christ, we could always, like, cast Kit as Jesus.
Yeah, sure.
Because we all know Jesus was a bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Wait.
For the record.
When you said Kit, the first thought in my head was Knight Rider, and I'm sitting there, Christ Rider.
Christ Rider.
The shadowy, shadowy flight into the world of a man who does not exist.
The power of Knight Industries compels you.
Christ Rider. I have a certain level of blasphemy, though, where it's eventually this far and no farther. So...
I've got to say this.
At least on me.
Ever since I saw Dogma, I
God
really
damn it.
think
Dogma
Christian
doesn't bother
Church
that
should
much.
adopt the Buddy Christ.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
that one doesn't bother me. But like, okay, the one that
I
bothered
thought
me,
that maybe.
and I'm just gonna say it, and people are gonna look for it, and that's fine. The one that really got to me was the one where people had Jesus as crucified upside down, but where his legs were spread as his arms were, and people were trying to use that as an invitation, like his butt would be where his face would be, and you just
Fisting
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. That it was basically like trying to. They were trying to invite people to to to
Ac-
to have anal
Actually,
with Jesus on the cross, and it was like,
actually,
Yeah.
actually, Batman. Now that you've
it's a
mentioned
bit
the
far.
Buddy Christ, it's like that might not be a bad idea, since for a couple of thousand years they've decided on the Bloody Christ.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I've also often wondered if the Romans had burned people at the stake for executions instead of crucifixion, what the Christian symbol would have been. A stylized picture of a pile of ash or something, you maybe?
Yeah, well, a little urn on your around your
Yeah.
neck.
Well, I mean, the original Christian symbol was the ichthus fish,
The fish,
so they
fish,
probably would
yeah.
have stuck with that. They probably would have
God
just stuck
damn,
with that.
Bridge being all logical and shit.
I
I'm
like
Well,
sorry.
the funny
I
part
almost
about it
became
is
a nun. This is my wheelhouse.
the
What do you
the
want
fun
from me?
the funny part about Christianity though is they like to burn people at the stake. So I guess in Joan of Arc's time, how do you like your saints? Well done.
You know, let's
Oh.
assume that Jesus and the story of Christ is historical fact. Given that, you know the easiest way to destroy Christianity? To go back in time, visit Pontius Pilate with a chest full of gold and convince him to let Jesus off.
Just put Jesus in jail for the rest of his life.
No,
And
no, just
there
let him
you
go.
go.
Without the crucifixion, Christianity could never have happened. That was
That's why I said if he's really that bad of a criminal, give him a life sentence and don't kill him. Just
They
make
didn't
him
do that
think
back
about
then,
the
though.
evils he is. Well, no, but if you're gonna convince Pontius Pilate of anything,
Exile.
yeah, exile, that would work too.
either that or you dose Jesus up with LSD and let him go on a murderous rampage.
I mean, they could have gone with the real hardcore method of, oh god. What the fuck was it called? Where they would strike their name from history.
Yeah.
Because that was a thing.
Oh yeah, the Soviet Union used to do that as well.
Oh yeah, to be fair.
Well, there's a really fascinating essay that I might have to go dig up at some point for maybe someday when I post videos on my channel again. But there's a really fascinating essay on different types of trance work that we know exist in terms of neurology in the brain, and how some of that can relate to some of the stories about Christ. And it's very, very interesting and very well done. I don't know how to.
I'm curious.
It is. It is actually a really
a hell of
interesting
a lot that is that they put in the Bible about Christ, which is almost word for word from the story of, I believe it's Osiris.
No, it's not.
And Mithras as well.
No, it's actually not. It's really not. And I've looked into this because I've been both neo-pagan and very devout Christian, and it's I mean that's the old mythicist position, but it's academically unsound. I'm sorry.
Yes. Oh well.
Well, see, I have to break in here. See, I used to try to be all this shit with being pagan and Christian, and I just figured out, you know what? It's just too much fucking work to be religious.
It doesn't have to be. It depends on how you do it. It really, really does. I mean, for example, philosophical Taoism. There's literally no religion that's less work than that.
Well, to just being no religion whatsoever fucking ever is the easiest for me, because then I don't have to fucking be bothered with it.
Yeah, but there's certain types of solace
Well,
that you can get from it, among other things.
You mean if there's no religion and above us only sky?
See, that's the funniest thing about it. Yeah, I imagine there's no religion, but I fucking hate John Lennon with a passion. But that's beside the point. But anyway, the whole point of it is you know that's what embarrasses me about atheism is these assholes are just about as bad as the fucking religious people because at one point I did hang around with a bunch of atheists and
Hold on, Magnus. Can I
God,
ask a question
listen,
here?
hang on, just let me finish this one statement, and then you can ask. They seem to be more rabid half the time than the fucking Christians were.
Yep.
Yep.
Anyway, what were you going to ask, Betsy?
Now, do you mean atheist or do you mean anti-theist? Because there is a significant difference.
I'm starting to think that you're right about that because they seem to be so anti-theist that I mean just listening to them, it's like listening to a pack of rabid fucking dogs just barking at anything that moves, and it's like you guys realize you're not going to win any fucking arguments about religion. Just
see, this is why I'm a pantheist, but that's pantheism.
That's like everything is an aspect of divinity, right? Everything in nature.
No, well, for that one, I can just honestly say, if you, this is a video I've already done. If you go to my YouTube channel, there's a video where I go, "What do I mean when I say heathen?" And it's like a 10-minute video, and it kind of goes into the difference between pantheism and panentheism, and different types of religious belief and whatnot. So if there's a 10-minute video done on my...
Isn't pantheism where you basically you're hedging your bets and you basically give lip service to every god?
Wait,
no,
hold on. Did you say pantheism? Because that sounds like the religion of trousers.
Every god would be omnitheism, right?
Well, that's true too. Yes.
Yeah,
but
polytheism is where you worship
all the Jesus.
Well, no, if you really want a serious moment here, okay, so in traditional theology, there are two main positions with regards to the nature of any particular deity. That deity can be purely transcendent from the universe, as in it exists apart from the universe, like completely just separate from everything else, or it can be completely immanent in the universe. And in traditional Catholicism, deity is both immanent and transcendent.
For a moment, Bridge, as for a moment in this, we have been going for about 2 hours, so I'm gonna wrap it up soon.
Oh, okay. I'll keep it short. I'll keep it short. Basically, what that means is if God would exist outside the universe or would be within creation as well. So the classic Catholic position is both. Many fundamentalists believe purely transcendent. Pantheism, some versions of it are purely immanent. Some versions of it are essentially agnostic in that sense and simply worship nature as such. So for classical pantheism, you don't actually have to believe in any specific deity. You don't even have to believe a deity exists at all. You can just simply be like, oh, hey, there's these combinations of natural forces that seem to do stuff and things. And it gives me a sense of awe. And when I look at the universe, I have this sort of, like, kind of the same story. Like, how do I put this? Pantheism is basically the type of stoned talk that Neil deGrasse Tyson does about the universe, only not trying to pass as science, but poetry about science, and they're more honest about it.
If you really want some Nazi soldier taking a piss into a river and he hears the noise, turns his head, and there comes Jesus running down the river, runs up his stream of piss and backflip kicks him in the face.
I still want to go back in time and somehow manage to get Joseph and Mary to take Jesus when he's 8 out to some kind of entertainment event. And then when they're coming back home in the evening, arrange for
oh, for fuck's sake, you are not turning Jesus into Batman.
Yes, I am.
No, this is not allowed. I'm gonna give Magnus. Hey! I'm gonna give Magnus the final word before I close out this this lovely stream.
Well, see, now Batman's got me with that image running through my head of, who are you? I'm Jesus.
Jesus
it's
of
not-
Nazareth.
There's a grave in Mexico that has Jesus, or Jesus actually, but Jesus Kal-El something. It's like, it was Batman. It had Superman.
And stopping the stream.